I do not believe that Muhammad was a prophet sent by God, but I do not mind if Muhammad is satirized, criticized, or mocked. I'm a Christian, and I should make clear that I don't think anybody should be prosecuted for satirizing, criticizing, or mocking Jesus either.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Julian Discourse. We all know the establishment's favorite trick. They constantly preach tolerance. But the exact second their preferred groups get offended, they send the police. For years, public order laws have been quietly weaponized as de facto blasphemy laws, but only to protect one specific religion. In this clip, Conservative MP Nick Timothy takes the floor in Parliament and says the quiet part out loud. He completely exposes the two-tier justice system that punishes everyday citizens while surrendering to mobs who threaten violence. Hit subscribe and let's watch an elected official finally refuse to back down.
We now move on to the 10-minute rule motion, freedom of expression, and I come to Nick Timothy.
Thank you. Madam Deputy Speaker, I do not believe that Muhammad was a prophet sent by God. I do not accept the instructions he said he received from the Archangel Gabriel. I do not accept that the sunnah, or body of Islamic laws, has any relevance to me. I respect the religious beliefs of others, but I do not mind if Muhammad is satirized, criticized, or mocked. I'm not a Muslim, and I choose not to live by the moral codes set out by Islam. I'm a Christian, and I should make clear that I don't think anybody should be prosecuted for satirizing, criticizing, or mocking Jesus either. England and Wales abolished blasphemy laws in 2008, and Scotland abolished them in 2021. But even then, those laws had not been used for decades. The last blasphemy trial took place in 1977, and the state hasn't brought a public prosecution for blasphemy in more than a century. But now blasphemy laws are back. I've been advised not to refer to two high-profile cases of people being arrested, charged and prosecuted for causing harassment, alarm or distress to Muslims or even nonsensically to Islam itself. So while I will keep my speech to the conceptual, I invite the House to recall that there are real examples of what I raise in the criminal justice system right now. The issue is the way Sections 4 and 5 of the Public Order Act 1986 are being used, far beyond the intent of Parliament, to police what we can and cannot say about Islam. This is the very essence of the two-tier policing row we have seen recently. Rough justice for those belonging to identity groups that play by the rules, and freedom from justice for those belonging to groups willing to take to the streets and threaten violence. This is the logic of using the Public Order Act to prohibit us from saying what we like about a religion. A person may be found guilty because of the violent reaction of those offended by their actions. From Sir Salman Rushdie to the Batley teacher still in hiding with his family, the threat of violence is what lies behind these new blasphemy laws. Perhaps we should not be surprised. There are at least 14 Muslim-majority countries where the penalty for blasphemy or apostasy is death, and we have significant diaspora populations from many of them. With the number of people here who came from these countries growing, and the increasing assertiveness of organised political Islam in Britain, this is a problem that seems likely to only get more severe. But the answer is not to surrender to the mob. It is to hold the line, and that is why today I bring forward this bill. In doing so, this bill would restore free speech as it applies to religion in England and Wales. It would stop the police, prosecutors and judges from creating a blasphemy law from legislation that was never passed for that purpose. It would send the strongest powerful message from this place, where political power legitimately and democratically resides, that this country will not tolerate intimidation, violence or censorship, that there will be no special treatment here for Islam, and there will be no surrender to the thugs who want to impose their beliefs and culture on the rest of us.
Yeah. The question is that the honourable member have leave to bring in the bill. As many in that opinion say aye. Aye. Of the contrary, no. The ayes have it. The ayes have it. Who will prepare and bring in the bill?
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. John Cooper, Luke Evans, Richard Holden, Robert Jenrick, Rupert Lowe, Rebecca Paul, Jack Rankin, Alex Shelbrook, Bradley Thomas, Tom Tugendhat, Gavin Williamson and me.
You know, a free society does not lose its fundamental rights overnight. It loses them slowly through elite cowardice and the deliberate weaponization of tolerance. What Conservative MP Nick Timothy just exposed on the floor of Parliament is the terrifying reality of the modern UK justice system. In 2008, England and Wales officially abolished blasphemy laws. The establishment patted itself on the back, claiming a massive victory for modern secular enlightenment. Yet here we are in 2026, and the state has simply imported a new unofficial blasphemy law through the backdoor. Police and prosecutors are routinely twisting the 1986 Public Order Act, legislation originally meant to stop actual street violence, to arrest everyday citizens simply for criticizing or offending Islamic beliefs. To understand why this two-tier policing is so dangerous, you have to look at the timeline of how the establishment surrendered. In March 2021, a teacher at Batley Grammar School in West Yorkshire was forced into permanent hiding with his family simply for showing a Charlie Hebdo cartoon in a religious studies class. The state completely abandoned him to appease an angry mob. In August 2022, author Salman Rushdie was brutally stabbed on stage in New York after decades of global elite appeasement to extremists. Today, instead of defending the Western right to criticize any religion or ideology, the government aggressively polices the working class for offensive online speech while granting total immunity to groups who threaten actual violence on the streets. Timothy perfectly labeled this dynamic. It is rough justice for those who play by the rules and freedom from justice for those who riot. The political left demands that we abandon our own civilizational values so they don't have to do the hard, politically risky work of enforcing the law equally. We cannot run a free country where your right to speak depends entirely on how violently someone else might react. We must hold the line and permanently end this two-tier justice system. Thank you for watching Julian Discourse. If you refuse to surrender your free speech to the mob and appreciate unapologetic commentary, hit that subscribe button, leave a like, and I'll see you next time.